Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on one of the most useful tools you'll ever use in programming, the Python dictionary. We're going to start with an idea you already use every single day, and I promise by the end of this, you'll see how that same simple concept is what makes the modern internet tick. So, here's our game plan. We'll kick things off at the basics, what is this thing? Then, we'll see how it stacks up against lists. After that, we'll open up the toolkit, build a quick little app, and then, this is the cool part, we'll connect it all to the web. We'll wrap up with a couple of golden rules you've got to remember. All right, first things first, what in the world is a dictionary? Honestly, the best way to think about it is like a digital filing cabinet. It's just a perfect way to keep your data organized when everything has a specific label. Think about it, you already know exactly how a real-world dictionary works, right? It's just a big book of words and what they mean. You have a word, you look it up, and you get the definition. Super simple. And guess what? A Python dictionary is exactly the same idea. It's a collection of key-value pairs. The key is the word you look up, and the value is its definition. You give Python a key, and bam, it hands you back the value that goes with it. Now, to really get why dictionaries are such a game changer, let's put them side by side with something you might already know, a list. We'll look at what I like to call the index problem. So, imagine you stumble upon this list in some code. It's holding data, sure, but it's not telling you much, is it? Without any context, all you know is you've got a bunch of numbers. But what are they for? What do they mean? Exactly. If you saw day 0 in your code a month from now, what does that mean to you? You'd have to count on your fingers, or maybe hope there's a comment somewhere. It's 31, okay, but is that January, March, May? Who knows? It's totally ambiguous. But now, check this out. This is the dictionary way of doing things. It's instantly readable. It documents itself. We didn't just use some random number like 0. We used the label, the key, January. There's absolutely no guesswork here. And this table really brings it home. With a list, you're always asking, what's at position 2 or what's at position 5? With a dictionary, you get to ask a much more human question, like, hey, what's the value for January? You're looking things up by a meaningful name, not just a number. And that right there is the magic. Okay, enough theory. Theory is great, but let's actually get our hands dirty. We're going to pop open the toolkit and look at the basic moves you'll be using all the time to work with dictionaries. So right here, we're creating a new dictionary. See those curly braces? That's the signal to Python. The city is our key, and the team name is our value, and we just link them up with a colon. Simple as that. Need to add a new team? It is ridiculously easy. You just name the new key you want, in this case, Seattle, and you assign it a value. That's it. Our dictionary just got bigger. And get this, changing something that's already in there uses the exact same move. We're just giving the key Boston a new value. The old value, Red Sox, just gets replaced. Easy. And if you want to get rid of an entry altogether, we just use the del keyword, which is short for delete. We tell it to del the Boston entry, and poof, it's gone. Okay, listen up, because this next tip is going to save you so many headaches down the line. If you try to look up a key that doesn't exist using those square brackets, your program is going to crash. Hard stop. But there's a much safer way. If you use the .get method instead, it won't throw a fit. It'll just calmly come back with none, and your program keeps on running. This is absolutely a best practice. All right, let's take that new toolkit of ours and put it to work. We're going to build a super simple little translator to see how all these pieces fit together in the real world. So just watch how this flows. We start with a totally empty dictionary. Then we start filling it up, right? The English word is our key, the Spanish word is our value. And once it's filled, we can use our safe.get method to look up hello and get back hola. This is just a perfect example of what dictionaries are built for. And now for the big reveal. All this simple stuff, keys, values, looking things up, it's not just for little toy programs. This is the actual language of the modern web. It's how everything talks to everything else. Take a look at this. This is real raw data that I pulled from a web service, what's called an API. It's in a format called JSON, and it is pretty much the universal language that servers and apps use to chat. And what's it look like to you? It's just a bunch of keys and values, right? It's dictionaries inside of other dictionaries. Okay, I know what you're probably thinking. At first glance, that looks a little messy. It's nested, you've got curly braces inside of other curly braces. How are we supposed to deal with that? Well, here's the aha moment. For a language like Python, this isn't complicated at all. Python can look at that web data, that JSON, and instantly understand it as a dictionary. something we already know exactly how to use. We can just dive right in and grab the advice without breaking a sweat. So, to bring it all home, let's just quickly go over the golden rules. These are the 2 or 3 things you absolutely have to keep in mind to use dictionaries the right way. Okay, rule number 1, keys have to be unique. You can't have 2 Januaries in your dictionary. If you try, the new one just overwrites the old one. Rule number 2, keys have to be what we call immutable, which is just a fancy way of saying they can't change. That's why things like text and numbers make great keys, but something that can change, like a list, can't be a key. And finally, the values? Go nuts. Values can be anything you want. Numbers, text, lists, even other dictionaries. So there we have it. We went all the way from a simple filing cabinet to understanding the actual language of the internet. Dictionaries give you this incredible power to label and find your information in a way that just makes sense. So the only real question left is, now that you know how to look things up, what are you going to build?